It's Rob!
Tony!
And I'm Jeff.
We're in gaming.
And that's you.
Hello gamers and welcome back to I'm Rob.
I'm Tony.
And today we're going to be going over our Whispers of the Old God Disenchant guide. We're trying to pump this out as soon as possible for you guys, but we kind of wanted to play with the cards first, figure out which cards are actually good, which cards are bad, and then we can go ahead and tell you what to disenchant. Because we didn't want first day release, oh yeah, disenchant this guy, and you guys, of course, you know, you end up needing him somewhere down the line. You have to, yeah it costs you more dust.
There's cards that end up being better in the end than we, previously expected. Yeah.
So we're going to go through the epics, the legendaries of the Whispers of the Old Gods first, and then we'll go through the epics, and then we'll kind of
go into crafting this so they can actually, because there's some you don't have, right?
Oh, that's true. No, I think I have them all. But anyway, we're going to go through legendaries first, tell you which ones to disenchant, why, which decks, if not, then what decks are they useful for. Then we'll go to the epics. We probably won't be as detailed for the epics as they're not as important as legendaries. And then from there, the video after this, that we're going to try to knock out as soon as possible is going to be our ultimate disenchant guide, which is going to cover all the legendaries in the game. And I might throw epics in there, but because of the size of the video, I might just make epics and rares and stuff a separate video. We'll see what happens with that. Let me know what you think in the comment section below, how we should do the ultimate disenchant, because obviously you can now disenchant previous adventure modes, which is really, really cool. So you can get some dust that way, but it's going to be a really lengthy video if we go over every single legendary.
Well, also we'll have to consider, we're probably going to do it for standard updates, so we'll probably say DE. Anything not in standard?
Yeah.
Is that something? Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. So we'll see how it goes. Let us know what you think in the comment section below. And without further ado, heading into the Druid Legendary, our first one off the bat. Stringham, this guy is actually really, really, really good.
Yeah, he's really cool.
He fits well into Cthulhu Druid. He fits well into mid-range Druid. He fits well into Ramp Druid. So as we know, Druid it's a class that most of the time the spells and sometimes even the creatures have the ability to transform into two different things. Or you have the option in between two different choices, whether you're going to create minions or spells with Raven Idol, or you're making a taunt with Druid of the Claw, or giving it charge.
Or Wrath.
4
damage and draw a card.
Yeah, so this guy fits really well in if you can't kill, if your opponent cannot kill him right off the bat. It's kind of reminds me, he doesn't have the same ability as Bran Bronzebeard, but it has the same kind of effect where if he doesn't, your opponent doesn't get rid of him off the field, you just keep generating so much value from this guy.
Getting a 5-drop 4/6 with haste and taunt is not good.
Yeah, and then on top of that, last game I'm building a Ramp Druid and I got to play Sonaris. And it summoned the 2/2s, and then it buffed the 2/2s by 2/2, so I got to summon Sonaris and 2 4/4s, plus I buffed him up to a 5/7. It was insane. It was really good stuff. So I think you should definitely not disenchant this guy. It fits well into Druid deck. Also, guys, keep in mind, just because we say a card is really good and you don't play Druid, so let's say you have this Druid Legendary, but you have no intention of playing Druid, obviously, you can disenchant him for maybe a legendary that you do play in some other class. But just keep in mind, this is like a general sense. These are good legendaries to keep if you plan on playing that specific class.
Yeah, definitely.
Princess, I haven't really tested her out a ton. I have seen her played against me, though, quite a bit. I would keep her if you do plan on playing Death Rattle Hunter, as that, I believe, is going to be a pretty good deck with Razah.
It's pretty strong so far.
Yeah, the only problem with her is the creatures have to be on the field. So when let's say you're playing her on turn 5 on curve, most of the time you'll maybe have 1 Death Rattle on the field, if you're really fortunate too.
Yeah.
So it's not like an effect that you're going to get right away. The best thing, though, is if you can play her later on in the game, when maybe you have like a Sylvanas on the field, or already a Savannah Highmane.
I almost said Fleece Man Lion. It's a Magic the Gathering card, never mind.
So playing her on curve, most of the time you won't be able to get the true value from her ability, but playing her later on in the game, if you can draw her later.
Yeah, you don't have Shredder to follow up, unless you're playing in Wild. Playing in Wild, following
if you're
Shredder and then her, very good. We're talking as if we're playing Standard, though. So.
Yeah, I mean, I'm mostly going to be playing Standard. I'm not going to really go back to Wild that much.
No, you don't miss Dr. Boom?
No, I have no intention of coming back to Dr. Boom. All right, so I do not have the Mage Legendary. It's good that you had pointed out that we need to go in crafting mode, Tony. You can go on over this one if you'd like.
Anomalous is an 8-drop, 8/6 big elemental guy. His name is Anomalous, and his Death Rattle, mind it, Death Rattle, is deal 8 damage to all minions. What's sad is, this has one of the coolest animations in the whole game.
Oh my god, it looks so cool.
You'll never see it because you don't ever play it, but I saw a video of it, and it, when his Death Rattle goes off, all the cards float in the air and glow purple, and if they die, they, go off ethereal and stuff. It's really cool. But unfortunately, the card is not very good because it doesn't have any immediate effect on the board. If it's turn 8, and you need something to do 8 damage to all minions, you would rather have something like Flame Strike. because if there's a board full of creatures you want to kill, most of the time Flame Strike can take care of that. You know, I doubt they have any a multiple 6-drops and higher. It's probably like a zoo deck. So you know, in this case, why wouldn't you for 7 mana just play Flame Strike and not? So
I mean, Flame Strike, you do miss out on the fact that Flame Strike isn't a creature, so you're missing out like a body on the board. And the fact that if you play this guy, your opponent's going to have to play around things taking 8 damage. I'm not saying this guy's good; he fucking sucks. But I can see him.
But
fitting
they just go face.
That is true, but then depending on your life total, so like this would go really well in like a grinder mage deck. So like a mage that has, you know, by the time it's turn 8, they still have 20, 25 health. Your opponent's still trying to play creatures, and then you play this guy, and your opponent's like, well, shit, do I just waste my CC on him? And then they stop developing creatures, or they go ahead and keep developing creatures, and then you end up killing this guy the following turn and clearing the board. So, I mean, there is kind of merit to playing him in, like, maybe one particular specific type of deck, but I would say in a general sense, this guy can be DE'd.
Yeah, most legendaries do have their purpose in certain decks. That is true. Like, they're not all, like, complete trash and do nothing, but, they all have, like, their very niche decks they fit in. So
yeah, I would say disenchant them unless you're looking to play, like, a grinder mage, and that mage deck doesn't exist.
Grinder isn't, like some kind of, like
it'd be fatigue mage. Okay. And that deck doesn't exist as of now. I'm sure it'll pop up within the upcoming weeks of Whispers of the Old God, but I have not seen a deck with him played in it, nor do I plan on making a deck with him in it for a pretty long period of time. All right, looking at the Paladin Legendary, Ragnaros, the Light Lord. He's an 8-drop, 8/8. At the end of your turn, restore 8 health to a damage-friendly character. So this is a creature, or your face. Tony actually got to watch this past weekend. He said in the tournament this card was played quite a bit, and it did help out a lot. The healing is what makes this guy so important, because not only did we lose Antique Healbot in the standard movement, we also have learned that Zoo and Rush decks are very, very good. So because of
Even though the meta is supposed to have slowed down.
So because of those two factors, we've lost Antique Healbot, and then aggro decks are so popular, the ability of being able to heal yourself is very, very good right now.
And an 8-drop, 8/8 body is very solid.
Yes.
So it's a hard deck for Rush to deal with. They have to smack the creatures into it, because if they go face, you're just going to heal for most of that damage back.
Yeah. So I think this is definitely a good card to keep, no doubt, if you plan on playing Paladin. I'm not really... I mean, the only part that I don't like about this card is the fact that, let's say you have damage minions, and then he heals the minion instead of healing your face. So it's kind of like a gamble, because it is still Ragnaros. Same thing with the deal 8 damage. You don't know what the 8 damage is going to hit. But
it's been played in more control decks. So usually he's the only creature on the field as you're trying to clear board.
Yeah.
Until you play like Death Rattle Paladin is what I've seen this played in. It was played quite a bit over the weekend, and usually when I saw him played,
he was the
only creature.
Yeah. Okay, so I mean, he's a good card nonetheless. He looks really badass, and I would not recommend DEing him, as he'll definitely be fitting into I think, a lot of control Paladin, especially Death Rattle Paladin. Tony, if you want to go over this one, I think you like this one a lot more than me.
I like this card. I just don't know how much merit there is to playing him.
I agree.
He's a 6-drop, 5/5, Herald of Village, and if you haven't seen what he does, he summons a 1/1 copy of each of your other minions. So let's say you have some cool Death Rattle minions, or you have a Velen, or something that has like some really cool effect. Herald of Village will summon a copy of him, so essentially you get, like let's say you had a Velen.
Well, it reminds me a lot of the Rogue card that copies a card, making it a 1/1, and you normally would use that on a card with a decent Battle Cry and or Death Rattle.
Or some sort of active, like Malagos. You use some sort of active ability that you can get some immediate value off of when comboed with something. Yeah. It's just there's not a terrible amount out right now that you'd really be interested in sacrificing stats to copy. Why wouldn't you just play something like Sylvanas or Emperor, or you could use this on your Sylvanas. That's
exactly.
Very good.
Yeah.
So there's some cards that this would be really good to pair with. So if you have this card, I wouldn't say DE as of now, because the potential is pretty good. But if Priest is a very tricky class.
I would say if you're looking to craft other cards right now, I would say DE this. But I would say if you can hold on to this, I would just a little bit longer to see what comes out. Remember, guys, when we make this, it's only a week or two after the release of the Whispers of the Old God. So obviously 6 months from now, when you guys are watching this video, some of the deck archetypes with these cards...
Not that we're releasing it in 6 months, but like if you come back to this video 6 months
later, what decks are going to be out now and what decks are out then? This card could actually be in a top tier deck. We don't know that. So I mean, We're going off of what we know now, and right now this card to us and what I've seen so far, and I've played, it has not been played. There's no decks with this guy in it, so I mean, if you're looking to make other shit, it's 400 good dust. But if you want to hold on to it, you really like the priest. Yeah, you really like the priest class. I would definitely hold on to it. Again, it all depends on what classes you guys plan to play and what classes you are playing currently. Obviously, if you plan on playing mage all the time, disenchant your priest card. It doesn't. If you have no intention of playing priest, why wouldn't you disenchant it? So just got to be smart on that aspect, guys. All right, so I call this the little bug boy. He's a 4-drop, 3/2 battle cry and death rattle. Add a random toxin card to your hand. People said he wasn't going to be that great due to the fact that he only had 2 health, but little did they know these toxins are a lot better than what they suspected them to be, even though they're not the most mana efficient cards, as you do spend, in total 6 mana for a 3/2 that could possibly, whatever the toxins
are each 1 mana. So.
Yeah. But they're activators for Gadgetzan Auctioneer, for your SI agent, for their blood.
Combo.
Yeah, just having those 1 mana cards in your hand that not only are activators, but they're actually pretty good in themselves. The toxins are good. You draw a card, you add a 5 attack to a creature, you deal 2 damage to a creature, and it counts as a spell. So you actually can deal up to 3 damage or 4 damage, depending if Azure Drake's down. So there's a lot of great combinations with this guy, with what's currently out. I've seen him played in almost every single rogue deck. On top of that, there's this new rogue card. What is the 5-drop 4/4?
Shadowcaster.
So this can also Shadowcaster can make a 1-drop of this guy, and you can just even get more toxins through that.
The 1-drop 1/1 that gives you 2 1-drops that
toxins. So there's a lot of value with this card. I think there's a lot of merit to playing it, and I believe if you do play the rogue class, I would not disenchant him. If you have no intention of playing rogue,
rogue is a very difficult class to play.
Yeah, so if you have no intention of playing rogue, like the 95% of the players who play Hearthstone, probably good to DE him. But if you play rogue, do not DE this guy. He will do you well.
Agreed.
Heading on to Shaman, I'm surprised I don't have this guy.
Yeah, you did not pull him.
All right,
Halaziel was probably one of my favorite legendaries of the set. Even though he hasn't seen a terrible amount of play yet, everyone's been playing aggro Shaman or some sort of mid Shaman, and this is more of a control-based card. It's a 5-drop 4/6. Whenever your spells deal damage, restore that much health to your hero. So it's not really something you want to play right on turn 5. You can't couple it with everything, but in like a control-type deck where you're looking to clear board and heal back up. With 8 mana, you can play this, and then play Elemental Destruction. This lives, and everything on the field is most likely going to die for playing some sort of
This lives if you don't have cards on the field that enhance spell power.
Yeah.
I would say, I always say Chain Lightning because I used to play Shaman, and that's what the picture looked like. But
it's Lightning Storm.
It's Lightning Storm, but I say, you guys know what I mean. So, I mean, Lightning Storm, I think, is a little bit better on your half of the field, as it doesn't almost kill your 5-drop. But ED, Elemental Destruction, like Tony mentioned, is definitely a good card because that actually does more damage, and you actually can heal for much more depending on when your health at the time you play this guy.
So, for example, Lightning Storm is 2 mana, which makes the combo, right? Yeah.
How you say him?
Lightning Storm 2 mana or 3 mana?
Lightning Storm, you mean Chain Lightning? That's 3 mana.
3 mana.
And it's Overload too. So you're basically playing 5 mana.
Yeah, so for 8 mana, on that turn, you're potentially clearing board, at least knocking off the Divine Shield, killing a couple Zoo cards, whatever.
It's basically,
and then you're healing up for, if it's healing 2 or 3
10 to
each
20.
creature. Yeah, you're healing for 10 to 20 damage.
He's the Reno Jackson of the Shaman decks.
That's pretty accurate.
All right, going to the Warlock card, Cho'Gall.
Oh, we never said whether to D or not.
Oh, in my opinion, I think you should D it. It only fits in Control Shaman.
Yeah, it's very niche.
If it fit, like, let's say, Archmage Antonidas, the Mage card, the original Mage Legendary, that card fits into every single Mage deck. You don't have to play. You can play Tempo Mage, you can play Control Mage, you play Freeze Mage, you play Grinder Mage. That motherfucker fits in everywhere. He's so good. As this guy, you wouldn't play him in aggro.
Some situations.
Yeah, it's good in some situations, but as of now, I mean, you're not playing late game Control Shaman, then this guy is useless to you.
Pretty much.
Cho'Gall, so far, I'm just going to point out there, I haven't seen him being played. I haven't put him in my Warlock deck due to the fact that I don't have him yet. But I have read up what other players have said about him, and it all depends on basically the situation you're in. He's horrible against aggro decks. He's absolutely trash due to the fact that he's a 7-drop, 7/7. You don't get anything right off the bat besides losing health. And if you're playing against an aggro deck, losing health is probably not the best thing that you need to be doing. If you're playing against a control type deck, losing health really not that bad because most of the time, if you're going to play Warlock and you're going to be playing a top tier Warlock, you're most likely playing Reno Warlock. And Reno Warlock, you can kind of give up a little bit of health.
I was going to say Zoo, but Zoo will kill you before you can.
Well, you wouldn't play
Siphon
this.
Soul.
Yeah, you wouldn't really play this in Zoo,
Giants.
which makes it deck specific.
Yeah.
In a nutshell, he's really not terrible due to the fact that you can pull out a lot of tempo with him in one turn, as you can play like a 7/7, and then you can use Siphon Soul, and you only really lose 3 health, and you can kill a random card on your opponent's side of the field. But the problem is with this combo is the fact that not only you need Cho'Gall in your hand, you need Siphon Soul in your hand, you need enough health to cast it. There needs to be a card on your opponent's side of the field worth wasting Siphon Soul on, and you only probably want to run 1 Siphon Soul in your deck due to the fact that it's a 6 mana removal. So there's a lot of things that have to line up to pull out that combo, and the amount of times that you're going to be playing Hearthstone, the amount of times you're going to find this combo in a particular game is going to be not that much.
And Wild, he might be a bit better because you can couple of things like Implosion or Dark Bomb to potentially have pretty solid tempo stuff. You know? In Wild, a 7-drop, 7/7, and then you can do Implosion for 4. You lose 4 health, but you can potentially kill a card and gain 4
I would say in
1/1s.
Wild mode, this guy is a lot better than in Standard due to the fact that Implosion's really good, Dark Bomb's really good, but right now you look at Warlock spells and I see Shadow Bolt. No one runs Shadow Bolt. And it's not that it's not a good card, it's just not the best card. So, you know, if you don't really play Warlock and, I mean, he doesn't, I don't know, I would say Disenchant. I can't really find a valid reason to keep this guy, and I really don't see him popping up in late game control Warlock, but again, this could be a deck that we see in the future, but as of now...
If you really like Warlock, potentially keep him.
I mean, we've said that before, you know what I mean? Like, if they play Warlock and we tell them to disenchant a Warlock card, you probably shouldn't do it because you play a Warlock. But if you're, like, on the edge and you don't really play a Warlock, but if you do, you play Zoo, you don't need him because he's never going to go into Zoo. So...
I'd have to agree.
Heading into Warrior, he's a 7-drop, 6/5 Battlecry equipped a random weapon. I really like this guy. You're almost always going to get a weapon with at least 2 or 3 attack, with at least 1 to 3 durability, depending, you know, it's random, so it's all going to be, you know.
Could get a Curse Blade.
Yeah, could get a Curse Blade, you could get Gore Howl, but most of the time, on average, you're going to get a 2 to 3 attack weapon with anywhere between, you know, average is 2, but it could be 1 to 3 durability. And that's a lot of value in a card, specifically a 6/5. And the weapon in itself, so I like it. It fits well into Control Warrior, it fits well into Cthulhu Warrior, it fits well into Tempo Warrior. Right now, he's actually in my Tempo Warrior, and I've been shitting on kids with this particular card.
I'd say if you play a Warrior, it's probably good.
I don't really like his weapon, but I think he looks badass too.
Well, that's his weapon, and that's Melkorok's
I know. I'm just saying, it doesn't look that cool.
He's Garrosh's best buddy. It's true. Look it up.
Okay, so anyway, if you like Warrior, great card. And if you don't like Warrior, obviously he's not the best card, but I would say keep him. I would say definitely keep this guy. He's good.
Yeah, most definitely. All right, now to the neutrals.
Oh man, all right.
There's not a terrible amount.
Okay.
Shifter Xeris, I don't know. This is a fun card to say the least.
It's a gimmicky card.
It's super gimmicky. He'll keep changing your hand. He's a 1-drop 1/1. Each turn, this is in your hand, so at the beginning of your turn. It'll transform into a random minion. So one turn, he can turn into that perfect 6-drop you need at that moment. He can turn into like a Savannah High Maid right on turn 6, right when you need something to play.
Yeah.
Or it could be turn 2, you need something to play, he turns into fucking Death Ragnaros.
Yeah.
Or fucking Deathwing, or something that you'll never play.
Yeah.
Or
can't play at the time.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't like this card. I think if you like gimmicky fun decks, sure, why not? If you want to make a super RNG, super fucking random deck.
Yeah, the problem is
right
also when you draw him, he's useless at that time. He actually has to sit in your hand for a turn to turn into something.
Yeah.
Which is bad if you're in the modes of you need a top deck, you know, a swipe, a wrath, a creature. You actually can't do anything with this guy the second you draw him, which means he's a dead card in your hand. And as we know in Hearthstone, having a card in your hand that just sits there turn after turn after turn really hurts you.
Unless you're playing some sort of control deck where you have to, like,
you have time.
Conserve your cards, like save Blizzard for the right time. But this is, I mean, it's a creature.
Yeah.
You don't normally save creatures for the right time. You save spells for the right time.
Yeah, so I would say DEM if you're not looking to play gimmicky decks. If you're looking to play a gimmick deck and you're looking to have some fun, because Hearthstone's not fun, or can be not so
nor
fun.
interactive,
I would say DEM. But again, if you're looking for, you know, just that really fun deck to play, that gimmicky deck, this is a card to keep. But if not, yeah.
Nat the Darkfisher.
This guy fits. Did you go over? Yeah, you went over that last card.
Yeah.
So I'll go over this card. He's a 2-drop, 2/4. At the start of your opponent's turn, they have a 50% chance to draw an extra card. So this is basically the opposite of the normal, not Darkfisher. The stats are a little bit better. I would say this fits well into mill decks. Tony had pointed that out. I didn't even realize. Like, mill decks aren't a thing in my mind, as I don't really come across them very much when playing, nor do I play them myself. Because I really don't find them that fun. But he definitely has a spot in mill decks, because the point of mill decks, if you're not familiar with that, you want your opponent to draw as many cards as possible. When you reach the end of the game and you can no longer draw cards, you actually start taking damage depending on how many cards you've drawn past the amount in your
compounds.
deck.
-1, -2, -3 for every card.
Exactly. So he has a room in mill decks. Besides that, you don't want him. This is definitely a DE unless you're playing mill decks, and I don't think 99.9% of the
his
people
stats aren't worth. Unless it's mill deck, his stats aren't worth a 2-drop, 2/4. It's just not worth having those extra stats for them to draw an extra card unless it's mill deck.
Yeah.
Man, is there really nothing? But there's no neutrals between this and this. Wow, that's crazy. There's no neutral legendaries between 2 and 6.
No,
I didn't realize that. Mukula, Tyrant of the Veil. It's a 6-drop, 5/5. Battlecry, add 2 bananas to your hand. He's a beast, so there's a beast tag, and instead of giving your opponent 2 bananas, he gives you 2 bananas that buff creatures for +1/+1 for 1 mana. We haven't really seen this used in any sort of decks yet. People were thinking it might fit in some sort of buff hunter deck with, like, what is it, the fucking Hunter's Explorer's Hat and things like that can constantly buff cards, and I don't know. I don't really see this being played much. It's 6-drop, 5/5, so you're already sacrificing stats, and then you get things that already cost more mana, so you're getting...
I just compare it to Savannah Highmane. Like, look at when you got, or not Savannah Highmane. For some reason, I think it was particularly a hunter card. But I look at what you'd play. What decks do you play Beast in? You play most likely maybe Druid, Beast Druid, and then you play Beast and Hunter. No other deck really synergizes really well with Beast. And if you look at Hunter, they already have Savannah Highmane, and if you look at Druid, they already have Druid of the Claw. They've got a bunch of other decent creatures that you don't particularly need bananas to combo with. The bananas work well with Tempo Mage, but at the same time, what are you playing a Beast with in a Tempo Mage that you're playing, it's just...
And there's so much better 6-drops
it's
stuff for Rogue that might benefit from, like, a 1-mana combo activator. It's just...
you don't get an immediate ability off of him. Like, I would just rather play a Sylvanas. Like, a Sylvanas has an ability that
or if
literally
you're playing
makes...
Hunter, you play just Savannah Highmane. Dude, that's one of the best 6-drops in the game.
Yeah, so
just
I would
for
just
that
say,
slot.
Yeah, so I'd say DM. He's not really that useful, and I have no intention of playing him, nor was I that excited when he was released. Heading on to Hogger of Doom. This guy's a 7-drop.
Hogger of Doom.
Wait, I mean Hogger,
Doom
and then I saw Doom. Hogger of Doom.
Okay.
I mean, it says Hogger and then Doom. And I just
right.
added
And the up is there.
Yeah,
so.
I just moved some shit around.
And then ignored an entire word.
Yeah. So he's a 7-drop, 6/6. So his stats for his cost aren't great, but his ability, which is what makes up for it, it says whenever this minion takes damage, summon a 2/2 null with taunt. So unfortunately, the nulls don't have a specific class they fall under, but the fact that they have taunt and they're 2/2 is really good. So I actually think this guy is I would not disenchant him. He fits really well into, my opinion, Tempo Warrior. He fits well into Control Warrior. He fits into Grim Patron Warrior. He's really good against Cthulhu. He's extremely good against Cthulhu, because most of the time Cthulhu's going to ping him. It's going to make a 2/2. And then Cthulhu's going to and then it's going to generate more creatures. And then the 2/2s also have a chance to suck up Cthulhu's damage. And right now, Cthulhu is probably the most popular deck being played right now, as everybody got a Cthulhu and everybody wants to play him. So I would say Hogger is definitely a really good card as of now. Maybe later on down the road he becomes less as Cthulhu becomes not so popular. But I would say right now he's definitely a good card to keep, and he makes for a solid 7-drop, because if your opponent doesn't waste a polymorph or a hex or something that deals with him, I mean, even if they fireball him, you still get the 2/2 out of him, and your opponent's going to have to deal with that. So I would say in a nutshell, most of the time he's going to make you at least 1 or 2 2/2s, and he's good against Cthulhu.
Well, like, you can throw him out, and then for 1 more mana, you play a patron. Or, like, if you have a patron out, or 2 patrons, if, like, you have this in a patron deck.
What do you
throw
mean?
him out, you play Whirlwind, you have a bunch more patrons, and you have ways to protect them. You know what I mean? Or Blood to Icor, you can make a 2/2 and a 2/2 with Taunt.
Yeah.
There's
a lot of cards that synergize well with whenever this takes damage, especially Warrior. I look at this card and I just see a bunch of Warrior combos.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Twin Emperor. If you want to go over them, that's
fine. I actually, in my 50 packs, I pulled him. I'm very excited. Twin Emperor Veclor is a 7-drop, 4/6 with taunt. Doesn't sound very good, but if your Cthulhu is 10 attack or more, you get another 4/6 with taunt. So for 7 mana, you get an 8/12 essentially with taunts. Very solid. The thing is, he's a Cthulhu card. You would never play him anywhere outside a Cthulhu deck. But the thing is, Cthulhu can fit into any class pretty much. You can theoretically make a Cthulhu deck for any class.
Yeah.
So right now, he's been pretty good. People started running Black Knight specifically to counter this card and all the other fucking taunt cards in this expansion.
Yeah.
So I would say definitely don't DE unless you just are tired. If you're super tired of Cthulhu
don't
decks,
DE him. No. I would just say don't DE him. Cthulhu fits in every, like Tony mentioned, fits with any class. This is a very solid Cthulhu card for a 7-drop. It has a ton of value. So yes, the downside is the Black Knight, but if your opponent doesn't play the Black Knight...
That's just one of the fucking... He has to wait in his entire card to kill half this card.
Yeah, and then also, in my opinion, I think this card is going to be seen a lot in Shaman due to the fact that they can evolve him. And last game, I actually was able to pull off a Twin Emperor and then evolve on turn 8 to make 2 8/8s because they both count as 7-drops. And I got Rag the Light Lord and... what's his name? Gruul.
Ooh, rip.
Yeah. So there's definitely a lot of combos that you can do with this guy based on the fact that he splits into another 7-drop. So whether you're evolving, you're Savage Roaring, there's just a lot of good stuff you can do there. Yeah, good card. Don't DE it.
No.
The Boogie Monster, yeah, this card, I'm just going to say it sucks right now. DE it ASAP. He's an 8-drop, 6/7. Whenever this attacks and kills a minion, gain 2/2. So whenever he attacks and kills a minion, not when a minion dies, not whenever he attacks, he has to attack a minion and kill that minion, then he gets +2/+2 for 8 mana. Horrible. There's no immediate effect. He doesn't...
Even if it said something like, deals damage to a minion and kills it, so like it swings, like a creature swings into it, that would even be a little bit better. Yeah. But there's just
this has to attack. So let's say your opponent's creature attacks this and your opponent's creature dies, you don't get the +2/+2. Yeah. And he doesn't have any immediate impact on the board. Like, he doesn't...
Why do you still have it? DE that shit right now.
No, I gotta keep it. I don't need to DE it. I want all the cards. You want me to do it? You can do it.
I like this card. I'll go over it. Sawgoth the Slitherer. It's a 9 mana 5/9 with taunt. Sounds pretty bad stat-wise, but it can't be targeted by spells or hero powers. This card is pretty decent in that it can't be targeted by spells. Can't get polymorph. Can't get it causes them to have to trade into it. Unfortunately, the 9 mana on it is pretty rough. I've only seen this played once, and it was in a control. It was something weird, like a control priest or like a weird control warrior. So I think it might one day find its place, but unless you don't really like control type cards, this might not be the card for you.
If you like your aggro based decks, which are the faster paced decks, or even the mid range decks, this card is not. This is solely a control late game card. If you have no intention of playing that type of play style, DE this card. Along with that, there's other replacements for late game cards besides this guy. The fact that he only has 5 attack means he can't really trade into other cards that cost 9 mana, so he's most likely going to die when doing so.
Yeah, he's more like an anti-aggro card, though.
Yeah,
that's all he really is.
Yeah, by turn 9, though, if you're playing a control deck, you should have stabilized against an anti-aggro. If it's still going back and forth, you can play better cards that'll be able to take the field, like Veclor, for instance. Puts 2 taunts up in front of him, costs 7 mana, so you can actually passive or play a 3 mana spell. There's other things you can do in the turn. When you play this guy, he's your only move. That's it. Granted that they can't use spells to get past him, they only can use creatures, they're probably going to follow up with a pretty decent creature themselves that turn as well, and because this guy, like I mentioned, has such low attack, it's going to be hard for him to get through that if you yourself don't have the spells in your hand to deal with whatever they've brought out. So I think he's, in a sense, okay, but at the same time, very specific deck you play him in, I would DE him.
He's very large on the screen.
All right, Deathwing the Dragon Lord. It's literally the opposite of the original Deathwing. He's a 10-drop, 12/12 dragon death rattle. Put all the dragons from your hand into the battlefield. As we know, and probably most of you know, Kibler is he loves dragons, so he probably made this card look pretty good for you guys. And you're like, wow, this card's amazing. But in actuality, this card fucking sucks. And I don't say that in a sense that, oh, I just hate dragons or I hate Kibler. It's just a 10-mana 12/12, so it doesn't have any immediate impact on the board. If it gets polymorphed, you've lost the ability to do anything. If it gets hexed, as we know right now, everybody's running double polymorph, double hex, double siphon soul, or not double siphon soul, but cards that remove creatures effectively, especially since people are playing cards like Deathlord Dragonlord or Deathwing Dragonlord. Yes, he combos well with N'Zoth, but the fact that you have to hold on to all the dragons, like, you normally play your dragons throughout the game. You don't sit there and hold on to them in your hand because that kind of sucks. So maybe the best case scenario, this guy dies, you summon 1 to 2 dragons.
A dragon set don't have immediate effect on the board. Which most of them don't.
Most of them have battle cries. So you're missing out on the battle cries from those dragons.
Well, like Onyxia won't get any value, but your Sarah will still get the value. Like there's,
but at the same time, then you're holding Onyxia and Deathwing Dragonlord in your hand, and you're not playing. It's just like it fits into a very specific deck, and it's sometimes good if your opponent has no way to deal with it whatsoever. It's just very conditional. I'm sure some of you will be like, oh, I saw Kibler play this card, and it's amazing, top tier deck. It's just like, whatever, man. You can hold on to it, and you can play, and you get shitted on. And that's fine with me, because I don't really care. But anyway, I would say DE it if you have no intention of playing dragons or losing.
No, if you do have the intention of losing.
I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a really cool card, really cool ability. If you pull it off, it's really awesome. But
imagine, there's going to be a guy who's, has, fucking 9 dragons.
I'm looking at it from a competitive standpoint of a deck that's going to perform consistently over an expanded amount of time. I'm not looking for that one day in September at 7 o'clock at night, you happen to pull off the God combo in one win out of the 37
If that's
losses.
the case, you're going to end up on Trolled In, and that's fine, but...
So, I mean,
you lost
look, there's more shit. But anyway, yeah, I would DE them, in my opinion. If you like dragons and stuff, obviously hold on to them. This is just opinion-based, but we're just kind of giving you the facts the way I see it. And not that I play Hearthstone at all. What do you mean? I guess Cthulhu is... Yeah, Cthulhu's not here. I guess we can go. But why the fuck would you disenchant Cthulhu? Let's not be that guy.
Where is he?
All right. N'Zoth the Corruptor. A 10-drop, 5/7 battle cry, summon your death rattle minions that died this game. So originally when this card came out, I looked at it and I said, this card won't see play. I saw 10 mana, I saw 5/7, and that's basically all I looked at. Now that I've realized that most of the time the games do last until turn 10 based on the cards that they release. Tons of healing has been put out there, whether it be, the Rag the Light Lord or the new Priest cards, like a 5-drop heal for 5. There's just ways to live until turn 10 now. And the fact that you can play this one card and potentially bring out an entire field of death rattles, basically this is your Exodia.
Man. You remember that game you played against that rogue?
Yeah, it's just if they're able to play at least 2 to 3 or even more death rattles throughout the game. I'm assuming they have more due to the fact that they're playing, N'Zoth and death rattle, whatever deck they're playing, and they play this card, they win. The only way you basically lose is if their HP is low enough so you can have, double fireball their face, or you already have creatures. Because when they play this, they're not doing anything else that turn. Which means if their cards that they bring back they don't have charge, they're not going to be able to deal with whatever you have out. So you essentially have one free turn to do whatever you'd like. Which means if they're low enough health, or you're playing, Twisting Nether or something like that, and you're able to clear the board, this guy will win you games. I think this is a very solid God card. I think N'Zoth will find its way into tons of decks. I've seen him played a ton.
I saw him over the weekend a bunch.
He definitely wins game, and he fits into almost every single class.
Getting a second Tyrion in a Death Rattle Paladin deck is just devastating, man. That's 30 damage.
Yeah,
from the second Tyrion weapon.
Really good card. Definitely don't DE him.
Yogg-Saron. Hope's in. Rob was really excited for this card.
I was. Until he killed himself every single time I played him.
It is a super, super fun RNG card.
The big red button.
He is, okay. So we're going to go over the situations in that you never play him if you're ahead. Ever. You never take that gamble. If you have nothing to play, only Yogg, don't really play Yogg, unless you're about to lose.
I would say this is more of explaining if we should DE him or not. I guess the particular circumstances of when and when not to play him would fall into the deck guide of the deck. But I would say keep him. For the most part, I have a keep. He definitely fits into decks, but it's definitely he could lose you games, he could win you games, but he's really fun. He's actually found in my Tempo Mage deck, so it's not like he can't be competitive. He's
literally what you play though when you are thinking you might lose. If you're setting up to potentially lose, you play him in hopes that he can clear field, maybe draw you a couple more cards, and maybe even heal you up a bit.
Yeah.
Lay on hands or something to draw and heal yourself.
If you guys are familiar with the oh shit button, when you do something in response to how do I say this? He's your response to you having nothing else to do. Like when you say, okay, well I lose, yeah, the Yogg is then your choice. Yogg is number one. So really good card to get your
card.
Yeah.
I've already seen so many great videos.
I'm so unimpressed by this card. It makes me really sad. He does fit in a deck though, and I have identified this deck, and I've lost to this deck because of this card. But that deck and this card are particularly not very good, and we'll go over that in a second. So he's a 10-drop, 10/10, Rage Unbound. At the end of your turn, put a minion from your deck into the battlefield. So there's many things wrong with this card. The stats are fine. The ability is questionable though, because the fact that if we remember Deathlord, and then not every single time did we want a card come out of our opponent's decks because we lose out on the battle cry. So whether it be Justicar Trueheart or something like that, we lose the initial value of a card if it has a battle cry or it gives other cards buffs. But on top of that, he only fits into one deck right off the bat that I can think of, and it's Ancestral Communion Druid. So most of the cards in that deck are just...
I saw this played over the weekend. Yeah. Not in a tournament, but on the stream.
Yeah, and that deck, if you're not familiar with it, it has... The whole deck is filled with like 6 and 7 drops, 8 drops or higher, and you get 10 mana, hopefully on turn 2 to 4, and then you just continuously play huge threats, one after another. There's not really any synergies or combos. I mean, I'm sure you might get some somewhere along the line, but the whole point of the deck is to summon the biggest creature as fast as possible. And this guy kind of follows that same path of just bringing out huge creatures bringing out creatures from your deck. But if your deck is filled with huge creatures, it's good. But most deck, as we know, they have a curve. They have many 2 drops, 3 drops, 4 drops, 5 drops. So you play this guy and you pull out a 2 drop, doesn't feel that great, especially if the 2 drop it has a battle cry that you're missing out on. But in a deck like Ancestral Communion Druid or whatever you want to call it, pulling out Ragnaros, Ysera, Nixia, even though you don't get a battle cry, it's still an 8/8 body on the board, plus this 10 drop. It thins out your deck so you can potentially draw, the better cards.
The reason this doesn't work in like Control Warrior though is because you're bringing out things at the end of the turn like Grommash or Trueheart. Trueheart is horrible to get out, and even if it brings out like Emperor Tharzan, you're not even going to get the discount from Emperor.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's already the end of the turn.
Yeah, you've ended your turn when the card comes out. So I mean, there's a lot of... It's good and bad. I would say it fits into like maybe one deck right now, but so I'd say DE it.
If you're looking to build like another God deck, if you're looking that you need Yogg or you want N'Zoth, I'd definitely say DE him for one of those.
Oh yeah, there's just better cards than him right now, like Yogg or N'Zoth, like Tony had mentioned. So get rid of them. You don't really need them unless you're playing Astral Communion Druid, but I'm sure that deck will get boring after a while, considering if you just don't draw the cards, you lose.
It's got a ton of popularity though. I remember no one played it, and then all of a sudden, like every streamer plays it now.
Yeah, and then of course Cthulhu, but everybody got that card. If you DE your Cthulhu, I don't know. I think it's a really good card, and I think it fits into every single deck.
Oh, that's why he's right here. Include uncraftable cards. He's not even there.
It doesn't
matter.
There
he is. Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. But anyway, Cthulhu's good. I wouldn't it's uncrafted. Can't even DE him, so it doesn't even matter. All right. Due to the fact that this video is 38 minutes long, I suppose... Let's see how many epics there are. We'll just check.
There's a bunch.
Ekok? No.
Oik? There's a bunch, but we can run through them real quick.
All right, we're going to run these through. Actually, yeah, we'll go through them really quick for you guys. All right, so Forbidden Ancient, I've tried him. I don't like him. If he gets silenced, he's useless, and the fact that you don't get any initial value out of him is bad. So I would say DE him. Whispers of the Gods, bad, horrible. There's 7 drop. Give your minions +2/+2. There's actually a 2 drop in the game that does this exact thing. It gives +1/+1. So you're essentially paying 7 mana for something you could have paid 4 mana for if you have 2 of those in your hands. Summon 7/1/1 Wisp.
The creature give the 3/2 or give all your
And then the summon 7/1/1s. Yeah, Arcane Explosion. How you doing?
Whirlwind.
Call of the Wild. Fantastic. Do not DE this card. This card is disgustingly good.
Craft this card.
Craft this card. Giant Sandworm. DE him. You're not going to play him. It's good if you get him out of a Ram Wrangler, but besides that, no siree Bob. Forbidden Flame, I like it. Can work out really well in your favor. If you don't play Mage, get rid of it. But if you do play Mage, keep it. Cabalist Tome, really solid.
Good.
2 of them, you may not need 2. I think 1 is okay for the most part. I only ran 2 for the fact that I wanted to test the card as much as possible. So, of course, having 2 in your deck, you have a greater chance to draw it and see what it can actually do.
In Cabalist Tome into another Cabalist Tome.
Yeah. So I'd say 1 or 2, perfectly fine. I would say you only need 1 Forbidden Flame. Yeah. So I would say if you have 2 of those, you can DE it. Forbidden Healing.
I've seen this card heal for fuck ton.
Really good. Definitely keep it if you plan to play Paladin. Vilefin, really bad if you don't plan on playing Murlocs. He only fits in Murloc. He's only
We haven't seen this played yet at all.
Yeah, I would delete this guy.
Yeah.
It's an Forbidden Sapling. I haven't seen anybody play this, but it seems like it'd be pretty good, in my opinion.
Played on turn 8.
Yeah,
some
it fits.
Solid 8 drops.
Yeah, so I mean, RNG Master Race, but hey, it's a decent 0 drop and it fits well.
It's the Priest's Unstable Portal, essentially.
Embrace the Shadow only fits in OTK Priest. If you know what that is, it's 1-turn kill. So if you have no intention of playing OTK Priest, which is never going to be a super competitive deck, it's more of a gimmick deck. And yeah, you can DE that. You're not missing out on it. Shadowcaster, really, really good, really good for Rogue. If you have no intention of playing Rogue, obviously you can DE it, but if you plan on playing Rogue, you definitely need 1 or 2 of them. Blade of Cthulhu, bad in my opinion. Even in Cthulhu Rogue, he's still bad.
If you're going to play, only play 1. There's no point to have more than 1.
Yeah.
And this card, it's super late, so yeah.
Sentinel, depending on what kind of Shaman you're playing, I think one of them is ran in Aggro Shaman right now, if you plan on running Aggro Shaman, so 2, it might be too much. Hammer of Twilight right now seems pretty bad due to the fact that it's a 5 mana 4/2. And on paper, this is decent, but the fact that it's 5 mana for 4/2 is just, it's too slow. It's
very slow.
It's not enough attack.
If it was 4 mana?
If it was 4 mana, now we talking. 5 mana, not so much. Renounced Darkness, this is obviously completely a gimmick deck. So if you plan on playing, again, competitive decks, you can DE it. If you plan on playing fun, cool decks, keep it. Doom, horrible, DE it. I'm not even going to just run Twisting Nether. It's not an epic, and it's
you won't fatigue
2 less
yourself.
mana. Yeah. Blood Warriors, haven't seen it played yet, but it reminds me of Echo of Medivh out of the Mage deck. Probably found in Grinder Warrior. As of now, there's not such thing as a Grinder Warrior, but I'm sure it'll come up.
It might find its way into patrons for your decks that run damage minion kind of shit.
Yeah, maybe one of them, so I'd keep it.
Yeah.
Arms for Tentacles, haven't seen it played yet. Obviously going into a super control-based warrior deck.
Super.
I would say if you don't plan on playing Control Warrior, Disenchant it. Bad. I'm not going to go over each one of these cards, but this is bad. This is bad. This is really good.
That is solid.
This is really good in Death Rattle
Paladin.
decks. This is good in Cthulhu decks, depending on which one you play. If you're playing like Cthulhu Druid, this is not so good, as you have Druid of the Claw, and
like
it's much
Warrior.
better. But Cthulhu Warrior, this is really nice.
Wait, you missed?
I'm going this way.
Oh, interesting.
Scaled Nightmare, bad in my opinion.
It has to be comboed to get any value.
Can only be basically you're playing it in a dragon deck, and it has to be comboed.
It'd be like cold. It'd be like Conceal and then, or like Cold Blood. Play this Cold Blood Concealed.
Yeah. Darkspear, bad. Biodunes, bad. Ancient Harbinger, bad. Disenchant all in one. When I say bad, that means Disenchant.
Ancient Harbinger might be fun for your gimmicky decks that you want to pull out all your 10-cost creatures.
Again, I'm basing these off of. Yeah. It's good that you mentioned that. But again, if you plan on playing gimmicky decks, every card in this game could be utilized in a gimmicky deck.
This is true.
So, and then bad, of course. Super cool.
Super gimmicky.
Yeah, super gimmicky, super cool. Summons a 30/30 if you got 2 of these and they can live long enough to say hello. But you know what I'm saying? Not going to happen anytime soon. Definitely not going to happen in ranked play.
And then it just gets BGH.
And then it gets BGH. So bad. That's basically it. That's everything. That's all the epics, right?
Yep.
Good stuff. So, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can leave those in the comment section below. If we missed anything, or if you disagree with anything, I would like to hear what you guys have to say as we make this video for you. And we can only cover so many things as fast as possible, as we do not want these videos to be 4 hours long, which I could easily make a 4-hour video talking about Hearthstone.
And how shitty certain cards are, how good certain cards are.
But we can't do that due to the fact that, time constraints and everything. So, hopefully you've enjoyed. Comments are always welcome.
Remember, suggestions for the ultimate deck guide or ultimate disenchant guide, however you want us to do that, we'll be happy to do it in whatever way we see fit or you guys see fit.
Yep. So as always, I'm Warshack.
I'm Tony.
And happy whatever the hell day it is.